right, here we go again. It's really simple this Monday morning. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to get out of bed. The dog had to wake me up twice. Now, part of it was me eating a little on the late side and taking a nice wallop of the melatonin. I just didn't want to get up because I'm facing too much stuff that's bothering me. And I said my prayers. I prayed quite a bit last night. Asked for blessings. Prayers come true. I get blessings right away. I'm looking at 3 videos in front of me. The worst engines, the 3 worst and 4 best Porsche engines to buy. Well, that's nice to know, but I don't want just an engine. I'd like the whole car. No more permits. Supreme Court emergency decision to nullify on perfect. So what the heck? I mean, they've already got my permit, and I'm already registered to my license plates. They all know all of that shit on all of us all the time, and they try to jam us up all the time on stuff. It's like, why not just say no more jam ups? That'd be okay. I'm complaining, but no more permits. That's kind of nice, because people are going to be able to defend themselves properly, and I think we need to defend ourselves against these errant police in particular. There was a weird case a few years ago. I think it was in Pennsylvania. Could have been Ohio. But this guy shot like a wildlife officer, and he was ruled not guilty. Apparently, the wildlife officer was threatening his ass, pointing his gun ready to pull the trigger on him, so I guess he dusted the guy off. I'm sorry. You know, the officer's got to know how to manage himself and his firearms. Otherwise, I'm not recommending that at all, because that's a fluke, man, because usually they railroad our asses. Don't upgrade until you've watched. I like this guy. Know your gear. He's a good guy. He really is. I'm not going to watch this video because I'm not upgrading anyway, because I don't think many upgrades are upgrades, to be honest with you. But I usually like to watch him. But what I wanted to bring your attention was the fact that all of this technology, this healing technology in particular, is coming out of the woodwork. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to clear Donald Trump's name on a particular item. Back a long time ago, people said, Donald Trump is telling you to drink bleach. Those jackasses back then. I don't have the goodies in front of me. They're in the motorhome, which is a frozen ice cube out on the wasteland that I don't know when it's going to start. If it's going to start, I'm pretty sure it will, but who the hell knows? You put, well, the key's already in it until I turn the key. Anyway, I know a lot of problems with it, and it's a lot of opportunities as well, so we'll put the best gear in there, and it'll last another 25 years probably, if I can afford to get the best gear in there. But I know that the blessings come in my way, so that's fine. Now, Trump was accused of telling people to drink bleach to deal with COVID. What he was describing was a chlorine dioxide solution, a chlorine dioxide preparation, which is okay. And I've got the bottles, and it's not that much money for them, and it doesn't last very long. But what I don't like about it is I don't like the taste. I don't like the flavor. It's a lot like bleach. It's chlorine dioxide, and you're supposed to drink that stuff. And this is a low-tech invention, and I don't know who invented that. I'm pretty sure it went to Africa to help the natives there. Oh, should I use that name or not? The people there? What do I got to call them at this point to be politically correct to satisfy your asses out there? So that the people, the natives in Africa, could use this stuff to combat the HIV that was being given to them by Mr. Gates. Well, he wasn't doing it directly. They were doing it through the shots, kind of indirectly. His labs were over there. He was building this stuff. And also he was experimenting with different types in which it would keep mutating itself, so you couldn't keep up with it. So he'd be able to just, I don't know how many people he's killed over there in the Dark Continent. If I was president, Mr. Gates would be taking in irons, full irons, leg irons and hand irons, and I'd put him in the economy class section with a bunch of officers around him and tell people, get your cell phones out and record this son of a bitch. And I'd fly him directly to Mumbai, India. And I would say, here, I believe you have a warrant for his arrest. Do what you want to do with him according to your laws. That's all we're going to ask here. However, do not release his ass when you're done with him. If there's anything left, we want at him. But I would give that to the people of India as a goodwill offering because of the number of girls that he's damaged over in that country. They charged him a long time ago. You'll say, oh, the statute of limitations is up. Not for fraud. Not for medical fraud. Not by a long shot. Not for any fraud. But getting back to the story, there's also MMS, Miracle Mineral Supplement. And I didn't meet the wife, but I met the husband, and his wife, his father-in-law actually was a physician who had invented that stuff and took it to Africa. And they went after her father, and they went after her husband as well. He was jailed. What year would that have been? Who would have been president then? Trump or Biden? Does it make a difference? I don't think it does because it's the same shit continued on. They put him in jail because he had something that worked to help people. And I don't know what it was. I did not ask the gentleman what it was. He wasn't supposed to talk about that with anybody. And he told me that they told him he was either going to sign a consent agreement agreeing to 5 years in the federal pokey, or they were going to put his wife and his mother was older than I was, in prison. That was the threat. Upon threat of, we're putting your mother in prison. He was in his 50s at the time. Mother was in her 70s at the time. At this point, she'd be in her 80s if she's still alive. They took everything away from him. They wanted him off the scene before they launched this COVID crap. So MMS is pretty cheap. I like it better. It's on the shelf. It is basically a citric acid kind of a solution. It's got a certain half-life, if you will. It's only active for so long before the molecule disappears. And you take that and it cleans out whatever doesn't belong in your body. That's right. You heard me right. If it doesn't belong in your body, it takes it out. Now, how that little molecule is so smart like that, I don't know. And I don't care. So you can get that. I've still got a couple kits on the shelf. I bought 3 of them at one time. They were $20 a piece. Today I think they're $50 a kit, which is outrageously expensive if you ask me, because it costs them maybe $2 to make it. The bottles probably cost more than the stuff they put in it. And then we've got other therapies. We came up with binding therapies like zeolite and stuff like that, which I haven't used very much, and which when I get the money, I'm going to probably be using it. And you've got nanotech zeolite, and I was trying to become part of this Masterpiece, which is a multi-level marketing program. I do not like those programs. I'm not going to participate. I was told there was somebody on the phone all the time. Hell, I can't even get an email response from them, but it doesn't matter because they're charging way too much for their product, in my opinion. Yes, they had clinical trials. Yes, they showed you could take the Bluetooth technology transmission stuff they shoved into their bodies. It takes that out, but it costs a bit for that, and there's cheaper ways to do that. And then we're worried about plastics, we're worried about polymers, we're worried about the PTFEs, the forever chemicals, and it turns out now we've got this urine therapy, which has been announced, and you've got it's just amazing because your body has all that it needs to heal itself, and you can clean it out pretty good. From what I understand, when you're using the urine therapy, that you end up excreting the plastic, and I guess it's pretty ugly looking, and they tell us the woman who's famous for that, the woman who did that, I don't know her name. I'm looking at a picture now. She's rather good looking. She's got a nice smile on her face. I don't even know her name. She's in the back behind the caveman, the guy that's got no short. Shows his hair on the picture here. All right, well, he's the best looking out of all of them. That's all I can say. But I'll tell you this, they're all smiling and they're all happy because they know they're doing global healing. Doesn't that sound good? global healing. Everybody gets healed. Everybody has health and wellness. We don't sell it to the highest bidder. We don't dole it out a little bit at a time. So apparently, and a friend of mine's been trying to convince me of this for a year or two, and I was like, nah, man, I'm not drinking my own piss. But it turns out that by actually kind of incubating it in the sun for a certain period of time and taking just a little bit of it, that it increases your body's natural stem cells. So it's stem cell therapy. And it's cheap, because you're just going to throw the piss away anyway. So why piss it away, right? You know? So it helps you. Your own body heals itself. I like the smile on this woman's face. She's quite beautiful as I look at her. She got a little bit of bleach in the front of the hair there. She's got hair, of course, and a little here, there, and I know, okay, they do their best to look great, but her radiance, you cannot hide it, that's for sure. But she's apparently done that. And there's free courses here at the Global Healing Institute. That's kind of nice. And so that's why I give you, okay, Maria Chrysler, Crisler. Just make sure that's not an I, but yeah, Maria Chrysler, Tony Casey, Jonathan Otto, figures it'd be a Kraut, right? Megan McDonald, special guest, hosted by Dr. Edward Group. That's his name, Group. DC. Direct Current, one of those guys, one of those, well, then they ruled on fake doctors in about 1934. Yeah, they put them in jail, in prison, and they had to do all kinds of stuff to practice what they preached. When? Tuesday, February 24th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., live on Zoom, hosted by Dr. Edward Group. Direct Current. All right. Free to join, space is limited. I'm not going to sign up. Just because I don't know where the hell I'm going to be on that date. I'll probably be, if I'm lucky, I'll be on the road. Yeah, so I'm not going to take a seat. Somebody else can have that seat. There's other stuff being developed in the neurosciences which are really wild. You got some people that just aren't willing to go public yet. The price is too high. It costs too much. The price to get there, the price of entry into some of those clubs was so damn high, you wouldn't believe it, even if I told you. So, and there's been some real miracles occurring, folks. That's all I can say. Now, I do think that there's some other technologies out there that are just coming aboard, which are really pretty fantastic. I think Dr. Tennant, he's not practicing anymore, and it's just a little too expensive in my opinion. But he's out of Texas, and he's developed some stuff that's really marvelous as well. We've got the technology that was developed in the late 1800s in which you power your automobile with two balls, basically. Yeah, pair of balls, pair of testicles. Actually, it looks like a doggone set of antlers, and it looks like what we call a radiator with horns on it with a couple of balls on top of it. And it turns out that that's what they used to power the original electric cars. You didn't have to have batteries. You certainly didn't have to have fuel tanks. You didn't have much to maintain either. But you had to have enough money so you could have one ball and another ball. One ball is going to be silver. That's right. Silver ball. About the size of a baseball. Tennis ball, maybe. Just a little smaller. And then the other side, it looks gold. It looks like it's gold to me. But I'll bet you anything, it's just cheap-ass copper. So you got to have one copper ball and one silver ball, and they gather the ether, the electrical energy that's around us. You're not going to go very fast, but what the hell, if you're in a village, if you're in a little community, what the heck, I mean, you're not going to want to do much of anything. Now, the real problem is, how do you protect gotta protect your balls, you know. I mean, you gotta keep that silver ball, and you gotta keep the copper ball, and the prices and the values of that are going up so much. Let me tell you something. There ain't a shortage of nothing on the planet. It's all here. It's been here. A long time ago, about 4 billion years ago, they collided two planets together, or was it two petri dishes? I don't know. But because of that, our petri dish has more heavy metals on it than the other petri dishes around in the universe, if you want. And because of that heavy metal, we have life. This life that's on this planet, or in this little petri dish, however you want to view it, is only possible because of the preponderance of the metals. Now that I've sort of busted that wad out there, I want you to sit back and realize all good things come to he who waits. Just be patient a little bit. I know a lot of you are going to want a pound of flesh for a pound. Some of you are going to want more than that. We are going to have a good time employing a lot of people in administering justice to this planet and discovering the hidden stuff that the bastards who control us today have hidden from us. It's all going to be exposed. That's what the good book says. Now, I've got a link. I'm not putting it up anymore because I thought I was going to sell 1 million Bibles, and I probably am. Now that I'm going to give up all that wealth that it's going to generate, right? Yeah, I would like to have an institute. I would like to fund some certain things, that's for sure. But you know, I don't want to make money off what the Creator has endowed me with, endowed us with. It doesn't feel right. But here I am. I'm against the wall. I'm in a hotel. I've run out of money. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay off the plastic that's in front of this. But then, of course, it's all phony money anyway. They don't have the money to lend me, so how the hell can they demand something back? I don't know. I don't like it very much. But I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to getting on the road. Rig is still going to break. It's still going to need repairs. There's some more things I want to do to it. I've got my sights on another rig already that's actually a downgrade from this, supposedly. But having learned the secrets of it, I realize that it's actually probably an upgrade. And maybe I can get that one sorted out before I try to drive it down the road, too. But who knows? I don't know if I have enough time for that. I do know that I've had near misses. I had a chance to buy a Porsche 904. If you don't know what a 904 is, look it up. There was one for sale on Gonzaga University campus in Spokane, Washington, about 1974 for an amazing $4,000. And my dear friend, my best friend, talked me out of it because you don't want that, John. He'd just gotten an MG. He says, you don't want that because it's got plexiglass windows and it leaks like a sieve in the rain. Well, he was right about that. But I still wish I'd have bought that car because it's worth probably a couple $1 million today. And they only made 17 of them. That's all. Each one had its own mold for its own nose. So they were each basically handmade vehicles. And of course, they came out with a souped up modified version for the track after that. And I'm older. I don't want a rough ride like that anymore. But they came out with a 917 after that was somewhat modeled on that original 2-liter engine. I don't know how many cylinders were in that 904. Somebody ought to tell me at some point. But I tell people I missed that, and I missed out on a triple black 1980? Ah, man. It's about 1985, 83, 84. Triple black, non-slant nose Porsche 930, the turbo. The one that they had more parking lot accidents than any other Porsche in history with that because people didn't know what the hell it was about, and they would They put the gas down, it wouldn't go anywhere, so they'd put it to the floor, and all of a sudden the turbos would bam right into the doggone guardrail or whatever other cars. I missed out on that too. That's okay. I want something a little bit more regal than that. So someday I'd like to get another Porsche, but it's not important to me anymore. It really isn't. Yes, I still want one. Yes, I got my eyes on one. I think my name's on it. The price is outrageous too, but the money's worthless anyway. So what would I like you to do? I'd like you to go ahead and call the publisher up and order a Bible. Get one of the two of those or get a case of them. You're going to want to get them as fast as you can because when this batch is gone, I don't think there's going to be many more. Something just tells me that it's just not going to be happening like it is today. So the Bibles are for sale for about $50 a pop, and the competitor's Bible, especially the Schofield Study Bible, is probably close to $200 right now. I'm guessing. The last time I bought one was about 15 years ago, and they wanted $115 for it. So at the rate of 250% inflation, that would be 230 plus another 350 bucks for one of those. I sure wouldn't pay that for the enemy's Bible. I am hopeful, and so I do think there's healing for the nations. I think that North American continent has got the healing materials. I can't give you all my secrets. Got to save something for the boys just in case they decide they really want to go into business. I don't think there's anything wrong with making an honest living. Do you? You think profit is a bad thing? You think that a man being able to take his daily wages and be able to buy his food and the roof over his head, you think that should be taxed? The government should be able to tax that? Our founders thought that was immoral as hell, but you created this wonderful, great society of Lyndon Baines Johnson, the bane of our existence, who was controlled by the assholes who he helped to murder our president. He gave them nukes. They didn't have to go develop it on their own. He gave them the whole things. And not only that, but Bush Sr. also gave them whole nukes too, which were used against us in New York City in the basements. Yeah, baby nukes in each one of those. You can't convince me of anything else but that. I do think that those baby nukes that came through Texas, that's right. And I think you're illustrious president who oversaw the triangulated hit from the CIA, but it wasn't just the CIA. Every shooter in the world was on there because they put out that much of a contract on him. You see, they missed him on November 4th. They got him on with the 23rd, I guess it was, or 22nd of November. And the reason they missed him on the 4th of November was because our undercover guy sent a warning in about it. That's right. Yeah, that lone gunman was actually our guy undercover, and he saved the president's life on November 4th. They set him up to be their patsy. Oswald's grandmother tried to tell us her son was a government agent. She went to her grave knowing the truth, at least, that he was an agent, and he was deep, deep, deep undercover. And you had the secret guys doing battle, and they set his ass up. And of course, President Nixon had overseen the training of the one group that claimed they actually did the killing, but then we have Mr. Fitz, who claimed he was one that shot the fatal shot from the grassy knoll. I don't think he was lying, but we'll never know who really delivered the death blow to him, and I don't think that matters. I think what matters is that we're going to get our country back, and we're going to take care of all of those people that have done this to us, and we're going to dismantle these structures that have put up in place. We're going to take apart this entire federal government brick by brick and look at the mortar by which it has been glued together with. We are reclaiming our republic. Why not? Our founders were amazing men. They gave us the proper structure from the get-go. And there's only one thing that you and I and everybody else in this country is going to agree upon, and the rest of the world is probably going to want to give us their 2 cents as well on this, because we've hurt them so badly. We need to go back to the original structure our founders gave us. We need to go back to the Betsy Ross flag. Yeah, manufacturing. That's what she was doing, was manufacturing and saying up here to the guild over in England. Yeah, okay, so she was a woman, so what? She knew how to knit, and she put the flag together. The flag, 13 stars. The circle of life. 13 stars for 13 tribes. 13 colonies. 13 states. And I would like to welcome our 51st state. You folks in Canada and Alberta, you want your independence. We want ours too. So if we can restore our republic, would you mind being our 51st state?